Something quietly historic is unfolding across the entire planet. For the first time in human history, the global fertility rate has dropped so low, we're probably living through the slowest baby-making era ever recorded. So, what's behind this historic drop? Well, there's a theory that babies, especially fetuses, are basically parasites, and honestly, that might not be entirely wrong. For years, scientists kept hauling up deep-sea anglerfish, but every single one they pulled up was female, like only female, no males, zero. Were they hiding, invisible, or maybe still identifying as Bruce Jenner underwater and only transitioned to Caitlyn when they hit the surface? Then in 2016, two researchers actually caught a mating pair on camera, and what they saw was deeply weird, even by nature's standards. Down in that deep sea, the male anglerfish, has one job: find a mate. Once Bruce catches a whiff of the female's scent, he slams into her. He fuses with her body. His eyes are gone. His organs are gone, and all that's left are two gigantic testicles. He just wanted a mate, but now he's literally an external sex organ. And at this point, he might still have consciousness. He's thinking, wait a second, did I mess up? He tries to say, honey, I think our relationship is moving too fast. But then he realizes he doesn't even have a mouth anymore. Can you imagine? You just wanted a relationship. And now you have no brain, just two balls hanging off someone else's body. And that is what's called sexual parasitism in nature. Bruce gives up everything for reproduction. That tiny worm-looking thing stuck to her body, yep, that's not her baby. That's Bruce. And under this kind of mating system, the female anglerfish doesn't really get to be picky. Like, she's not out here swiping left on guys because they're not tall enough or don't have a jawline. Nope. Once he latches on, that's it. The record? One female had 8 males fused to her at the same time. At that point, she wasn't even a fish. She was a mobile sperm bank. Evolution literally turned her into a walking reproductive hub. There's a saying, kids are just parasites living inside their mom. Think about it. They drain all your nutrients, then leave you with stretch marks and back pain. And what does the mom get in return? A macaroni drawing that looks like a crime scene and a Mother's Day card written in crayon that says thank you for food. Parasites are generous. At least parasites don't ask for an iPhone on their birthday. So our guy Bruce the anglerfish is living proof that some species take sacrifice yourself for the future of your DNA to a whole new level, like literal parasitic commitment. But it does make you wonder, what about us humans? Are we also wired to give ourselves up for the next generation? Does having kids actually shorten your life? Is mom life biologically draining? There are two main ways life reproduces in nature: asexual reproduction, where organisms basically copy-paste themselves, and sexual reproduction, where two individuals mix their genetic material. And that's the one humans use. Each method has its perks, but sexual reproduction is kind of nature's long game. Sure, it's slower and messier than just cloning yourself like some bacteria do, but it comes with a serious upside. By mixing up genes, sexual reproduction creates more variety, which means individuals are better equipped to handle whatever chaos the environment throws at them: heat waves, viruses, or predators with attitude problems. More diversity means better chances of survival, stronger evolution over time, and a built-in insurance policy against extinction. Making babies used to be a win-win. You pass on your genes, keep the species going, and boom, genetic immortality unlocked. But that was back in the ancient world. That worked when survival was about fighting off wolves and foraging for berries. But today, in 2025, let's talk about the body. Back then, giving birth made you a legend. You pop out a kid, and the village is like, respect. She's keeping the species alive. Now? Yeah, we're not bouncing back. Your organs file for early retirement. Your back is busted. Metabolism's asleep. Hormones are drunk at the wheel. And sleep gone. If making a baby breaks the body and damages your health, why would anyone still want kids? No wonder birth rates are dropping. So what's really going on? The fetus is basically a parasite. That's not internet snark. It's literally the title of a 1969 paper. The Fetus as a Parasite. Yep, straight to the point. And the reason they called it that? Well, because even when the mother is malnourished or starving, the fetus still gets first dibs on iron, glucose, nutrients, everything, just like a parasite would. Fast forward to 2007, and scientists drop another banger. The placenta really does act like a parasite. They found the human placenta contains a molecule that's identical to one found in parasitic worms. And this molecule is a trick those worms use to hide from the host's immune system. Now here's where it gets dark. That same system, the one that helps the fetus hide, sometimes breaks. And when it does, you get a condition called preeclampsia. It affects about 6% of pregnant women. Symptoms? Swollen hands and face, high blood pressure, breathing problems, even seizures. It's serious, like 70,000 mothers and 500,000 babies lost each year serious. And the only real treatment? Just take the baby out. You separate mom and placenta, and the condition often resolves itself. Why does this happen? Because the human placenta is a half-foreign organ to the mother's body. It's made from the baby's cells, not the mom's. It invades the uterus like a tiny alien colonizer, and the placenta's job is to block mom's immune system. But if the placenta's cloaking device fails, the mom's body goes, wait a second, this isn't me, and launches a full-on immune attack, and preeclampsia starts now. The baby hasn't even been born yet, and it's already trying to survive an assassination attempt. Surprisingly, scientists don't treat preeclampsia like a disease. It's more like a biological red flag, not the illness, but the symptom of something deeper, which brings us back to the parasite idea. And honestly, it holds up. The fetus takes what it wants, hides like a worm, and builds a placenta that literally invades mom's tissue. But let's not get too dramatic. The real question is, how parasitic is pregnancy, really? Does it fully fit the biological definition of parasitism? Does the fetus always win while the mother loses? Is the fetus a kind of parasite? Let's look at papers supporting or challenging that idea. In 2006, a study from the Netherlands looked at 4,000 women and dropped a bombshell. Every child you have might shave nearly 2 years off your life. 3 kids? Congrats, you just lost a presidential term. But wait, plot twist. Also in 2006, a study on 50,000 Amish women found the opposite. The more kids you have, the longer you live, unless you have more than 14. At that point, the data just nosedives off a cliff like it remembered what raising 14 kids actually means. Then, in 2011, a study in Rotterdam looked at 3,500 married women and found that having 2 or 3 children is kind of the sweet spot, lower death rates compared to both childless women and those with a ton of kids. So, which is it? Well, in 2016, researchers found a downside. More kids equals more oxidative DNA damage. And that damage is a red flag for things like cancer, Alzheimer's, and rapid aging. But in the same year, another study looked at telomere length, those little caps at the ends of your chromosomes, and found that moms with more kids had slower telomere shortening, which could mean longer lifespan. So, what is the truth? Then in 2019, a Korean study said pregnancy drains calcium from mom's bones. So more pregnancies and more breastfeeding equal a higher risk of osteoporosis later in life. Except a 2016 meta-analysis said the opposite. Actually, the more children you have, the lower your risk of osteoporosis by as much as 25%. Why? Probably because pregnancy weight gain and all the physical stress stimulate bone density growth. So again, what's going on here? And there's a theory called antagonistic pleiotropy. Natural selection strongly favors those genes that boost survival and reproduction in youth, even if those same genes end up messing you up later or cutting your life short. Why? Because evolution only cares if you live long enough to pass on your genes. That's the whole game. If a gene gets you more babies, even if it wrecks your body after, that gene wins. Your personal suffering, irrelevant. And aging might be a byproduct of genes that were helpful for better baby making. Sounds counterintuitive, right? But a 2013 study actually backed this up. Stronger reproductive genes equals lower chance of living to 76. Baby making machine today, early retirement from life tomorrow. But of course, there's a twist. Women with 2 kids lived the longest. But hold your baby plans. That doesn't mean you should run out and have a second kid right now to hack your lifespan. Because this isn't a life choice thing, it's a genetic thing. You don't get to reshuffle your DNA just because you saw a video about longevity. So after all that data, all these studies, well, what do we get? Contradictions everywhere. The relationship between all these factors could be positive, could be negative, could be nothing. There are just too many variables, like did the mom eat kale or nachos? Did she get sick during pregnancy? Did she take a nap at exactly 2:17 p.m. in her 3rd trimester? Breastfeed, bottle feed, or psychic feed? Was the baby a boy, a girl, or one of those grumpy babies who come out already disappointed in life? Good luck modeling that. Now meet Brian Johnson, a real-life tech bro trying to turn himself into a super longevity cyborg. This dude downs over 100 supplements a day, tracks everything from his sleep cycles to his spit, and at one point he ran a 3-generation blood transfusion chain. His son gave him blood, then he gave his dad blood. Now, this young blood project didn't exactly turn him into an immortal elf king, so they pulled the plug. But the idea isn't new. Turns out, scientists have been flirting with this concept for decades, like literally sewing young and old mice together. 2 mice, 1 bloodstream. And it works. It works amazingly well. Old mice hooked to young blood got rejuvenated. Muscles, brains, and livers all started functioning in a noticeably more youthful way. In 2014, a team found a possible anti-aging ingredient in blood, oxytocin. Yeah, the cuddle hormone. Turns out it's also a youth potion. As we age, our oxytocin levels drop. But when scientists injected it into old mice, their muscle stem cells reactivate and start healing like they're in their 20s. Now here's where it gets really interesting. During pregnancy, a woman's oxytocin levels can rise to 3 to 4 times the normal level. So now we've got all these puzzle pieces on the table. Young blood, oxytocin, pregnancy, shared circulation, regeneration, mice science, and Brian Johnson being Brian Johnson. Wait, is pregnancy a kind of rejuvenation system? Is growing a fetus just nature's sneaky way of giving moms a youth boost? In 2015, a team in Israel tested this whole pregnancy as rejuvenation idea. They looked at liver regeneration, something mice are actually pretty good at. Non-pregnant older mice regrew 46% of their original size in 2 days. Pregnant mice, 96%. In just 2 days, that's Wolverine-level stuff. But there's more. The same study mentioned something called microchimerism. Starting around week 6 of pregnancy, fetal cells start showing up in the mother's bloodstream, and they help. Wound healing, calming inflammation, even repairing organs. The fetus isn't just taking, it's giving back. So now we've got this weird, beautiful system. The mother grows the fetus, and the fetus sends back regenerative cells. 2 bodies, 1 team, shared biology, shared benefits. Then, in 2023, Harvard researchers took it further. They used DNA methylation levels to track biological age, not calendar years, but how old your cells feel. And during pregnancy, that number goes up. Your body ages faster. Well, but it's reversible. After giving birth, your body can bounce back, sometimes even younger than before, like your body rebooted and installed an upgrade. Then, in 2024, Yale confirmed it and added a new layer. Turns out not everyone recovers the same. If you were obese before pregnancy, your recovery isn't as strong. If you breastfeed exclusively, your recovery is even better. That part, totally unexpected. So how can something this brutal, the pregnancy, somehow turn into a source of healing? Bunnies and elephants both have kids, but the process couldn't be more different. Rabbits are biological machine guns. She's out here like, boom, 12 babies. Let's do it again next month. Let's go, go, go. She doesn't even remember their names and probably just numbers them. You, 3B, stop chewing the electrical wire. Meanwhile, the elephant mom, she's like, I've been pregnant since the Obama administration. She gives birth once every 2 years, 1 baby at a time. And she's like, his name is Kevin. He will be a poet. And they're both thriving. Why? Because evolution has 2 modes, R strategy and K strategy. R strategy is for the bunnies. Make babies fast, don't get attached. If half of them die, we'll just print more. But K strategy, that's for elephants. No rush, 1 kid, raise it like it's the Messiah. Teach it to read, teach it how to use Excel, keep it alive for 80 years. For rabbits, long life is a liability because there's only so much grass. And if Grandma Rabbit won't die, then Timmy Rabbit starves. That's why you never see a wrinkly old bunny sitting in a rocking chair, because nature deletes her. But elephants, the older, the better. Grandma helps raise the kids, fights lions, teaches them trunk fu. That's the model we follow. Pregnancy isn't just a sacrifice. It's not a zero-sum game where the fetus wins and the mother loses. It's a high-investment, slow-growth system built on mutual benefit. And this isn't just a human thing. Elephants, classic K-strategy animals with long childhoods and slow development, do the same. But that's not the whole story. In species like these, the mothers don't just survive all that investment, they thrive. Pilot whales, for example. Their females live twice as long as males. Across mammals, females usually outlive males, including us humans. Maybe pregnancy isn't a tragedy. Maybe it's nature's hidden buff, a biological power-up built for long-haul species like us. Maybe it's not about survival of the fittest. Maybe it's about survival through connection. Pregnancy doesn't weaken mammals. It strengthens them. Not parasitism, not loss, collaboration. All right, enough with the sweet story. Pregnancy's not some magical free upgrade. Yeah, women usually live longer than men, but also with more health problems, especially when they get older. They even gave it a name, the mortality morbidity paradox. And get this, so far, we're the only species where that's a thing. One possible explanation, women are more prone to chronic stuff like arthritis, especially later in life. Plus, they actually go to the doctor, so their health issues get recorded more, which makes the stats look worse. But deeper down, it might be hormonal. Female connective tissue is highly sensitive to estrogen, and a 2015 study suggested this sensitivity might actually be a side effect of pregnancy, specifically tied to how pelvic ligaments respond during gestation. Moms talk a lot online about how brutal recovery really is, and yeah, it's rough. Postpartum pain can last for months, even years. Painful sex, back pain, hemorrhoids, infections, incontinence, anxiety, depression, these aren't rare. People just don't talk about them. And for some women, the pain never really ends, sometimes showing up as arthritis decades later. So yeah, even with all this science about fetal cells healing moms and pregnancy-boosting recovery, the truth is, pregnancy is a biological partnership. The fetus gives something back, but the mother gives everything. And here's the hard truth. Mothers may live longer, but they often live with more pain. And that's why they're extraordinary. Not just for growing life, not just for feeding a baby with milk that builds an immune system, but because they endure pain, face it, survive it, and carry it with strength, with grace, and with no guarantee of thanks.